marketing, entrepreneurship, and all things small business. You're listening to the Jurassic Marketing's Triceratops. Now, here's your host, Justin Miller.
Right, another episode of the podcast, and I think this is our first special guest of the year.
It is.
It is? All right.
First special guest of 2026.
I defer to Kevin because he's in charge of what order they go out. So, first special guest coming up here shortly, and I know her well, so I thought about just, coming up with my own intro, but it would have done it injustice, so she sent me like a half page. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll read the highlights and hopefully not offend her by doing so. So, first guess, I can't see your company name without giving away your name. I can't say. All right, we'll skip past all that and come back to it. So, award-winning author, copywriter, speaker, unique direct response publicist, helped thousands of entrepreneurs through getting articles in top publications such as Harvard Business Review, Rich Dad Company, Medium, Dental Economics, Dentistry Today, Success, Hollywood Weekly, HR Executive, probably like a ton more. So
more than that. Those are good. Those are great places.
The HBR,
that is pretty cool.
My name's not in there, I can tell you that. But she could help me get there, I bet.
Yeah.
Also presenting at Dan Kennedy's No BS events, Robert Kiyosaki's events, on and on and on. She knows her stuff, did well in school, apparently graduating magna cum laude. And the interesting stuff that I didn't know. So I knew some of this. I didn't. We'll leave some for when we're chatting here. But the activities outside of work. So kickboxing, dancing, and scuba diving. We're gonna ask her.
Those
about
are interesting. They don't necessarily go together, but evidently they do.
No, I can see kickboxing and dancing going together. The scuba diving with sharks. I don't know about that.
Yeah, without a cage.
Our special guest today, Melanie Rembrandt, Rembrandt Communications. Welcome. Thanks for being our first guest.
Hi, guys. Well, thank you for having me. I'm honored to start off the new year with a bang. So thank you.
Yes, and we are happy to have you on here. And our viewers / listeners, by the way, if you're listening to this on audio, there is a video counterpart, and you should check it out. So, Apple will do that if you're watching on Apple TV, or they're up on YouTube. But Melanie is helping a lot of people with their messaging, with promotions, with PR, and I think today we're going to talk a little about books as well. So I read a lot of your bio, but is there anything that you would add, if entrepreneurs, they don't meet you on the street, I was going to say, if someone bumps into you on the corner, no, if they run into you at the elevator at a conference, what's your 30-second, here's how I help business owners?
I help business owners boost sales awareness and credibility via a unique combination of copywriting, ghostwriting, and public relations.
Excellent.
How's that?
That is better than I would have done. And you and I met through Dan Kennedy World long and ancient time ago. And we continue to bump into each other at mastermind groups. So we've both been in this strange, I'll call it, world of direct response and taking our own unique journeys there. And taking different angles at essentially at the end of the day, helping business owners is where we both landed. Yours is probably a little more focused than mine at this point. But let's talk about, first off, the visibility problem that business owners have. So oftentimes, we found anyway, that business owners are really good at what they do, not so good at getting the word out about it. So let's start right there. And I want to try and get a little tactical today. So if you don't mind, we'll obviously give them the philosophy of what works and why, but if we give them some tactics too, great. So let's talk about that. So someone they're doing great at whatever their core practice is. So we can go doctor, dentist, whatever. But they're just having trouble getting recognized for that unique talent they have.
Well, I'd be happy to provide value because that's important. And we're both small business owners who have given our blood, sweat, and tears to become successful. So I have no problem giving some tips and insights. And a lot of people come to me and saying, hey, I don't know what's going on. I need this visibility element. I know I need PR. And they don't really know what that is. Some people think it stands for press release. Others have no clue. They're not sure what a publicist does. So I spend a little bit of time educating people. And press releases are important. They start to build awareness for your business, especially if the information is written correctly and sent to the right people. But people should not rely on that. If they send out a press release, it doesn't mean the phone's going to start ringing. So that's just a small portion of increasing that visibility that's out there.
Yeah, I guess that even the press, so getting the press is difficult for most business owners, maybe easy for you, but I would say very difficult for most business owners. But also it seems like the media is so fragmented now. Like everyone can watch and tune into specifically what they want to. So have you seen that impact either the outcomes or the strategies you've been using?
I have. It's very funny, though, because public relations is all about the relations you have with your public. So it comes back to that human touch. Yes, there are plenty of news services out there who just spray and pray. Basically, they send out news to thousands of people and hope they get picked up. But it all comes back to that human touch. And so it is me finding out exactly what my clients are trying to get across, what their story idea is, their message, then finding just the right media member whose audience reflects the clientele of my client and reaching out to them with a valuable story, something that they could actually share with their audience. It's not about sell, sell, sell. I have these great products and services. No, it's about the human touch, and people love stories, so they want to hear stories. So it's not about sales, it's about actually providing value to media members, your customers, patients, etc. And so no matter how much technology is out there, yes, it can help you get the word out, but it really comes down to that personal touch and your unique story.
Yeah, and I'm trying, and the area you serve is an area I've been really weak in, admittedly, at least the PR side of it. And I can remember back, I've like the random acts of PR is really how you describe what I've done. And the times I've used it successfully was actually in my previous business in book launch. So when I had a book, that was in the wedding industry. So it was a little more general public friendly than we'll say direct to mail. But we did successfully use, press release in particular strategy to build media time, and got several TV appearances out that, and put people through. I think we gave away books at the end of the day. We gave away the book we sent the press release about. Yeah, so we came full circle on that one. And I know that books have been a big part of your journey, and I think it's also part of what you help people with now, correct?
Yes, I've had many entrepreneurs, medical professionals, legal professionals come to me and they need a book. And most people have a book in their head, but it never gets on the paper. Well, I've been writing more of these books for people, and they use them instead of a business card. I mean, think about it. Published authors are instantly credible. They get a point of authority that you can't get any other way. And let's say you're at a big event, everyone's handing out business cards, and you go up to somebody and hand them your book. It provides value, it says that you're professional, and all of a sudden you stand out. So it has so many possibilities, and obviously the media love books. If you have a book, that's something that they can talk about, share with their audience. So it has so much value to it. And if you have a book and your competitors don't, boom, it's just a huge competitive advantage. So I've been doing a lot of books for my clients. They can be written in a matter of weeks. And it's one thing also, though, to get a book out there. There's so many people who have hundreds of books in their garage or attic. They sold them to their mom and their best friend, but they're still sitting there. So there's also the whole promotion, marketing angle that comes with writing a book. So I've been doing a lot of that with my clients lately because they're seeing such great results from having a book and being a published author.
Now you kind of skimmed over it, but you said a matter of weeks. And I think I have like 4 books to my name right now, and none of them took a matter of weeks, meaning they took longer than that. So you must have a process that gets that down. So I think I think from my experience, there's a couple of hurdles to people even going down the book route. And number one might be some self-image, like why me, right? What's so special about my story? Which you said you help people with their story, which is the critical thing first. But then the second is, isn't this going to be a huge pain in the butt and take a lot of time? So can you talk to that point?
Well, yes. And that's the first thing people think of. And with my content strategy, direct response, copywriting experience, I put that into the book, so it's a marketing tool. The way I work, I can get the story out of a client. I have been doing this for a couple of decades now, so I can write quickly, get to the essence of what is necessary, and get it out there. Just last month, I wrote a book for someone who needed it by an event that was happening this month, and they're now using it as a marketing tool. So yes, I can write it within a matter of weeks. And if you're not a writer, you should not be writing your own book. And honestly, if you wanted to write it, you already would have finished it by now. So it's really a good idea just to have someone write it for you, get it finished, get it out there, and the costs far exceed the value and results you get. So yes, a book does not have to take years. My first book is very detailed, simple publicity, and it did take a year, but things have come a long way since then, and it can be done in a few weeks.
Sure, and I think there's multiple types of books too, right? And the ones that I write more recently are not to the level of depth and grandeur that the first ones were. So I think some people make it more difficult than it needs to be for the first one. But
Right. And a lot of times they're worried, well, what if it's not good? Am I going to be embarrassed? And you come up with a whole plan. Hey, once you have this book, this is what can happen for you. And I've seen it time and time again with clients. So you need to get past the stigma that it's this horrible, hard thing to do, and things are different now. It can be done, and you can, get some great results from it.
yeah, and I think I have Dan Kennedy screaming in my ear that no one's going to read the damn book and it doesn't matter. Now, he didn't mean that literally. There is a subset of people that don't read the book, and the fact you have it does matter. But at the other side, people will read the book. We had a business owner group into the office here, and I gave them all copies of my book. And I don't know, it was maybe a month later, I got an email from someone in flight that happened. They took my book on that flight. That was the entertainment for the flight, and wrote back and moved the process forward. So definitely an important piece in the marketing mix. Now you say there's 3 things people should watch out for as they begin.
Yes. First one I mentioned, if you're not an author, do not write the book. Because if you're embarrassed about it potentially being bad, it will be. A professional writer knows how to capture your style, tone, actually get your story out of you and get it done quickly. So it can be a hassle if you're not a writer. And with that in mind, there are many services out there now who use AI completely to write their story. However, AI has no idea what's going on in your head. It doesn't know the funny things your kids did that you want to include in your story, your insight, your how you feel about certain trends. That's all in your head, and that has to get out there. So you want to avoid using AI completely to write your book, or all of these services that sound so fabulous. They're going to use AI. So that's one thing you really want to watch out for. The other thing, too, is, as I mentioned, it's not just about writing the book. What do you want to happen after you write that book? What's the overall plan? It's one thing to have a book, but what results do you want? And that needs to be in place before you even start writing. So those are 3 key things to look out for, just so you get good results and you're not wasting your time.
Yeah, and the AI thing's interesting too to me, because I have taken different approaches with each book I've done. And one of them is AI heavy, but that is the core teachings of the book it assisted in writing. And you are right, it's the personal stories that had to be added back in and woven back in there. That's probably the part that people actually care about, because there's no lack of content in the world today. By God, like there's no secrets about anything. You can find it. So yes, I could see someone causing more damage than good if they were just leaning on AI, or to your point that I think I heard, hiring a service that known or unbeknownst to them, is just going to use AI to write it, which is interesting because this used to be very niche to find a writer or a ghostwriter for a book. And I do believe I'm seeing more and more services randomly pop up that do that, which is really interesting. And I'm sure it is because they can get content. Like they can get content out with the AI, right? I can print words on a page, and now we have print on demand. And going back to now, what do you want to have happen after the book releases? You know, we live on the print on demand world now, so it's not like before. But before, you would hear stories of people that bought, you know, a pallet of books and they're sitting in their garage and nothing happened, which is a very visual for what's going on here. So maybe you didn't print the pallet of books anymore, but I got my book done. Now what? You know, what do you see in general with business owners? Have they thought through that when they come to you, or they really are just in love with the idea of having a book?
Well, either they've never thought about it before, or they've been burned by another service, or they're not quite sure what to do. And this is where the human emotion and personal stories and the experience of the ghostwriter come into play. Because if it's a marketing book, there are certain things you put within the marketing book to get sales results. And also, as a publicist, talking to the media, they want those personal stories. AI does not have those. And when I'm pitching a media member, they want that personal story and insight. And that's what sells the book. So that's why it's really important to have those three things if you want results from a book. And be very careful of all those services. Yes, they're popping up every day and they sound fabulous, but when it comes right down to that, very few of them offer the specific results, the very unique viewpoint of your book, and going specifically after the results you want and the goals you have for your overall business or practice.
And I think those stories are difficult sometimes for the business owners to share, even though they are the most powerful. I'm thinking back Q4 last year, we had a guest and we got to the very end, and it was, you know, what should I have asked you that I didn't ask you?
Yeah.
And I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you remember the other career he had done early on?
Oh, no, off the top of my head, I don't. You do, evidently.
I do, and it stuck with me, and this will make the point. He was either a magician or a hypnotist, one of the two.
Oh, you're right. I think it was magician.
Okay.
Yeah.
So magician, which I was in the magic world for a while as a young child. So this stuck with me. But I can't tell you the technical in the trenches information he shared on the podcast episode at this point.
But you remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah.
And
relatable.
When I speak from stage, you know, people come up and connect on, like, not what I was teaching, but the strangest little facts along the way. Like, I was a DJ for a while, or I traveled to so-and-so, I traveled to Europe to see the soccer game. Like, these are the things that people care about.
Because people crave connection, I think, now. And when you can be relatable and have a real story and something that is relatable, you become more human.
Well, yeah, and maybe Melanie can speak to it, but that's also the part that can't be copied. Like, I don't think there's a lot unique in the world anymore. Like, is that fitting?
Exactly. I mean, a book and your story give you that competitive advantage, so you don't have to worry about competitors. You're very unique, and whatever your story is behind whatever products and services you're selling. And that's what people really care about. They want to know who they're working with, especially today with all this technology, all these sales messages out there. People just want some real information and someone they can talk to with transparency and actually share their story. And people crave that today. And a book is a great way to get your story out there, and you can share what you want to. Obviously, we all have things that we don't want out in the public, but your book is yours. You can tell whatever story you want, but it's so important to have that human connection.
Yeah, and I think that the stories and the book, it's one of the top three, if not the single largest marketing asset in any of the businesses that I've run in the past 10 or 15 years. Is one of the first things. In fact, this business, Jurassic Marketing, was originally named Profit 911 which was originally the title of a book on marketing I wrote. So the book came first, actually, and you can pick any business before that. I also had a book, so we had multiples on weddings. I think there's one still in the library, which is
I think I still have
500 yards across.
Yeah, I have some of yours left over.
Might be a little dated at this point, but it still sits on the shelf, which has got to help with the search engine somewhere, right? It's in the library catalog. All right, Melanie, let's do lightning round here, and then we'll wrap with specific how people can contact you if this is resonating with them. So lightning round questions, which is fun for us.
Okay.
All right. So business book, best business book you'd recommend.
How to, it's the Dale Carnegie book, How to.
The Win Friends and Influence.
Yes, thank you. Win Friends and Influence People. I couldn't think of the word win.
Which admittedly, I haven't read in the past 30 years. I think I had the audiobook very on in my business career. So I'm curious. I'm screwing up the lightning round already, Kevin.
Nice.
But I'm curious why that one.
It just has some really basic information. Treat people like you would like to be treated, and you can be successful when it comes right down to it. And I think people forget that. So that's why I think it's so important.
Cool. Tool, tactic, software, something you can't live without.
My phone.
True. I had an internet outage this morning at home, and the cell phone wasn't getting good signal, and I was like, oh, we're going back to the early 90s today. Yep. Thankfully, it connected. Quote or motto? Anything that sticks out?
I love the Helen Keller quote that if your face is towards the sunshine, you cannot see the shadows. I'm kind of rephrasing that, but I think it's just so important to look ahead at the future and be positive. You can't change what happened in the past, but you can look forward to the future and whatever opportunities are available. So I love that.
That's a solid one for the beginning of the year here, too.
Yes.
And finally, something people would be surprised to learn about. Melanie, the publicist, writer, ghostwriter, PR person. What would they be surprised about if they knew?
They would be surprised to learn I was a professional tap dancer for most of my life.
Aha.
See, there's the dance part.
Yeah. See, I knew that part. So, and friends with you on Facebook. So you've been getting back into dancing, I believe. I think I've seen that.
I have not stopped since I was 3.
All right. So. Well, you started posting about it again.
So there you go.
A little bit. Yeah.
Makes it real.
Yes. I think it was out 1 year with an injury, but it's something I love that takes away the stress, and it's fun.
There you go. So back to those personal stories. That's what the Facebook got through to me. It ignored all the messaging you were trying to get across, but I knew you'd been dancing. So, all right. If people want to get in contact with you, or I should let's recap who you serve best first, and then best way to contact you if they want some help. Because first off, I agree. Books should be written by every business owner. But second, it is a huge undertaking, especially if you haven't gone through it before. And even if you have, making it better is probably a valid investment for almost anyone. So who do you serve most, and how can they contact you?
I serve entrepreneurs, CEOs, and a lot of medical professionals. However, I started this business to help small business owners. So if you go to my site, RembrandtWrites.com, you'll find free information. And I wrote my book, Simple Publicity, so people could do it themselves, all the way up to, blogs and videos to provide information. And then I offer a consultation to see if we're a good fit moving forward. So if you go to my site, there's something for everyone at all different price points. And if you do want information about having your book written, I can provide answers, and I'm open because I was an entrepreneur struggling. I started my own business without any funds at all, and that was a long time ago, so I get it.
Oh, yes, been there as well. Well, Melanie, thank you for being our first guest of the new year. I hope all our listeners got something valuable, got some nuggets out of there, some writer-downers, and we'll probably have you back on again, and I'll be seeing you, I'm sure, at a marketing event in the near future. So next week on our episode, we have another special guest. So we have a lot of guests lined up.
New for 26, lots of guests.
We've been asking for a while, but for some reason, our invitations got seen lately. So we will be back soon. And as always, like, subscribe, and share this so we can have more listeners than Kevin and my mom.
Thanks for listening to the Triceratops podcast. Be sure to subscribe and leave your comments. For more information on how Jurassic Marketing Direct Mail can help grow your business, visit JurassicMarketing.com.